My experience with Career Development Partners was extremely positive. I felt there was a great energy here in the offices. All of the personnel were extremely supportive, and it was actually a pleasure to come here every week. It's something that people, when they first start this, sort of dread, I think, a lot of times. I found it to be very fulfilling and encouraging, and each week I felt like I learned something more than I had known before, and so I was getting something out of it, and it was really something that I felt strong about doing and felt good about each week. I think the key thing that I took away from my experience with Career Development Partners was just the idea that you really have to work the process. You know, that so many jobs are not advertised, and that finding out about them through your network of colleagues and associates and friends is really a great way to get on the inside track and find out about things that you wouldn't know about otherwise. And that was something that I think I really didn't appreciate before this process. I think a lot of times people think about a job search as looking in the paper or looking online. And what I learned very quickly is that the best results really come from a much more interactive, personal approach. And that was something that Career Development Partners really helped me with. I'm much more confident. You know, when you start a process like this, it's easy to be discouraged, to feel like you have a huge mountain to climb, and that there's going to be, you know, an endless series of things that you have to do even to see light at the end of the tunnel. And what I really learned here was if you work the process and take advantage of the resources that are made available to you through Career Development Partners, you can really shorten that down and it can become much more manageable. They give you the tools to make it manageable, and if you take advantage of those, then it can really make the process much quicker and much smoother, and that was certainly my experience. In terms of my former employer, I would say thank you. This was a resource that was made available to me through them. It was not something they had to do, and I really benefited from it tremendously. I had a lot of opportunities open to me here as a result, and if my former employer had not made this available, I don't think my experience would have been the same. My word of encouragement to those who are thinking about whether to use an outplacement program is really explore the opportunity. I think we benefit from having help at every stage of our career, and transitioning between jobs is no exception. In fact, I would almost argue that you need it more then than at any other time. And that's what Career Development Partners provided to me, was a real support network. They offered me techniques and tools that I didn't have before, and just the encouragement, and to know that I wasn't going through this alone. I think that more than anything gave me a lot of peace of mind. There were still uncertainties, but it certainly made those uncertainties much more manageable. My time here absolutely shortened my job search time. Career Development Partners made it much more fluid, I think, than it would have been any other way. I was fortunate in that I was able to find a new position relatively quickly, and I'm very grateful for that. But one of the reasons that was true was because I really went through the process step by step, listened to my advisor, took to heart the recommendations, and it paid off. I think every interview that I went on, the people I was speaking with knew that I really had a strong sense of who I was, what I wanted to do, and where I wanted to go. And I think a lot of that certainty really came about as a result of the discussions that I had here, the work that I did, and the encouragement. And so it was very beneficial, and it absolutely shortened that search time down. The only other thing I would say is that something like this is very difficult in the beginning. Transitioning between any kind of role is a challenge, and a lot of times that happens at a time of not our choosing. But when you see it as an opportunity, it can be very fulfilling, actually. And the very first meeting I had here at Career Development Partners, I was told, think of this not as an obstacle, but as an opportunity. And I really tried to embrace that. And when you think of it that way, it's a great chance to redefine where you're going and what you want to do and what you want to get out of your career. And so, looked at that way, from a positive perspective, it doesn't have to be defeating, it can be empowering. And so I would encourage people, really start out in the beginning with a positive mindset, because I think it makes all the difference in the world.